Everyone stand for allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Seems like our mics are dead. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Testing. Yep, there we go. All right, now we're on. All right, thank you everybody for coming tonight. Just as a quick note, we did have an executive session to talk about potential litigation from 6:30 to 7:20 this evening. We don't have anyone from emergency services here tonight. I'll move on to announcements. We do have a couple announcements. Number one, we have the second annual trunk and treat at Tinicum Park. The Park and Recs Recreation Board annual trunk and treat is scheduled for Saturday, October 28th, the rain day for the 29th. If anyone's interested in volunteering, please contact the offices and we'll get you in touch with Park and Rec. Also, the Senior Expo hosted by Representative Shelby Labs will be holding a Senior Expo on Friday, October 6th at the Penridge Community Center at 146 East Main Street in Percy. For more information, you could go to repshelbylabs.net. And then we also have an announcement on plantings.
Yes, so we have, I have two additional announcements that are not on the agenda. The first is the planting for the wetlands enhancement project for the Tinicum Township Community Park. This is the project that we received a mini grant for from the Lower Delaware Wild and Scenic River Management Committee Council. The planting for the native plants is scheduled for September 30th. And if there is a rain date, it will be posted on the township's website. The second announcement that I'd like to make that's not on the agenda tonight is that the EAC has had discussions about when to hold the Earth Day Fair for 2024. Earth Day falls on a Monday, so they have decided to hold it on Sunday, April 21st, 2024. So we're just setting this date now so that organizations within the community, such as the Tinicum Conservancy, can include the date in their fall newsletter.
And then one more additional announcement. We'll be starting budget meetings next month. Our first meeting is tentatively scheduled for October 5th at 4 p.m. We'll make another announcement at the following meeting, but that's when we're currently planning on having our first budget meeting for this year. On to old business. Headquarter Road Bridge. We don't have any update for this meeting. We hope to have one for the next meeting. We also have resolution 091923.01. The Iden Agriculture Security District application. I think we want to table this one for this meeting till the next one because there is a question on the proposed use of that property and the zoned area in which it is included. So we got to do a little bit of research and see how we have to do that because there is currently the use that is requested is by conditional use only. So we want to just double check to make sure that everything is correct with that application. So we'll revisit that at the next meeting. The new business, we have proposed language amendments to the subdivision ordinance. And Terry, if you could remind, I believe we talked about this slightly last meeting.
Discussed in the planning commission discussed or requested that we look at our subdivision.
I'm going to start over because I shouldn't have been doing that. We discussed previously, and the planning commission discussed previously, a possible amendment to our subdivision ordinance to address when people want to subdivide or property owners want to subdivide and the lot that they're creating is not necessarily developable in accordance with the ordinance. So it was suggested that we ask Mr. Harris, and we did. He provided some language and, I can read it to you. All residential lots being created by subdivision and land development must be capable of being developed with a single-family dwelling without requiring a variance or variances from the zoning hearing board. And then also was suggested to clarify that we add in again, or the subdivision will not be approved. If the board feels that this paragraph and amendment would address that, right now I'm looking to send it to the planning commission for their comments. So I'm just looking for your comments before sending it to the planning commission.
I think there was because the issue with the situation that brought this up was the road had split the lot, and per Tinicum, that makes it 2 lots. Because of our definition of how a lot is defined, by not being something that is separated by a road. Is that something that, because that is the one thing that's, that situation, I don't know how more that occurs in township. It would be a hard thing to find out through GIS. It's a little bit of a hard thing to actually delineate where there's 2 lots or not, but
Well, that situation, the property was the 2, I'll call them lots for the sake of it, were split by a road. However, we could have other subdivisions that are not split by a road, where say somebody wants to subdivide off.
oh,
a
yeah,
portion that's
no,
on-
that my question's not related to that. It's more of trying to rectify future situations of that nature by potentially changing our definition of the lot with, anything
Yeah,
that's
you-
split
you
by a
have-
road.
yeah, This language, you'd have to amend the definition of the lot to say that, to define a lot, in addition to what's in there now, where a piece of property is split by a road.
Yeah, because I guess the one thing that's a little bit odd, because that's the township's definition, but that definition of a lot can change depending on where you're at.
Well, the township's definition of a lot is straight out of the municipality's planning code.
Excuse me. I don't think that you would want to, amend any of our ordinance to say that when it's split by a road, it's 2 lots, because we have a lot of lots that have one little tiny corner across the street, or say a little piece across River Road to the river. So, I don't know that we would want to change anything to say it's 2 lots because it's split by the road. I think that there's nothing wrong with the way the ordinance identifies it. This is just to clarify that you can't subdivide a property
Yeah.
if it doesn't meet.
Yeah, so people can't selectively
Requirements.
subdivide in difficult locations on one lot and not the other. I guess, mine was just a comment we had talked about because of the definition in Tinicum, but if that's out of the planning code, then so be it.
Okay.
But are you saying, Steve, that this proposed language, specifically what you have here in paragraph E, that would not address the situation that we ended up having at Center
Oh,
and
no.
Porter's Road?
No, it would address
Okay.
that situation. What Jim was saying is, hey, do we want to liberalize the language of the ordinance so that in places where a lot or where a property is split by a road, we define those as separate lots? And I think the answer is no, we don't want to do that because of the situation. But this language would address the luck situation.
Okay,
So Steve, if it's not separated by a road, please explain that to me. So it's a property,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I can't see them, so I gotta pull right in. So if it's not separated by a road, how does this apply?
If it's not separated by a road and somebody wants to subdivide the property, if it requires variances in order to be able to be subdivided, then the subdivision will be turned down. Now, they could go apply for variances before, and if they could get them, then they could come back in and ask for the subdivision to be
Okay,
approved.
and what is the size of the lot that's determined in the overlay district? It's 2 acres?
I think it's 2 acres too.
Is that 2 acres, Terry?
In the RA district, it is 2 acres, but there's so many other factors with our ordinance environmental standards that it wouldn't necessarily be as low as 2 acres.
Yeah, so 2 acres is a minimum.
Yeah.
Correct. And a road frontage has to be a minimum of 200 feet.
200 feet.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
if the board wants to, refer that to the planning commission, I would suggest a motion to refer that to the planning commission for their review and comment.
Yep, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in
And
favor?
just to before
Okay.
you make the motion, just to clarify, Steve, that's subdivision, so that does not need to go to Bucks County Planning Commission, or do I need to add that to the motion?
Well, I think it ought to go to the Township Planning Commission for their consideration. When the
Right.
Township Planning Commission is, they may want to mush this around a little bit. Then we'll put it in quote ordinance form, whatever they approve, if the board approves it in ordinance form, and then we will formally submit it to the Township Planning Commission and the Bucks County Planning Commission. But this, right at the moment, this is too preliminary to send to Bucks County.
Sorry.
Nope, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, moving on to regular business, minutes of September 5th, 2023. I will make a motion to approve as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Treasurer's report and budget recap will be at next meeting. Payroll report, I'll make a motion to approve payroll for the period ending September 13th in the amount of $33,721.95.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Take a look at the disbursements.
Terry, all traffic solutions, replacement of speed sign. Could you just briefly tell me what happened there?
Our mobile speed sign was stolen. So I made the claim with our insurance company.
Yep.
And that's the reimbursement.
Okay, thank you.
So, well, that's not the reimbursement, I'm sorry.
It's the expense, but it's gonna be reimbursed.
It already was reimbursed and that's the expense.
No, I'll make a motion to approve as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No public works update, for this meeting, and on to zoning and conditional use. We have a whole list of these to go through, so I will read down through them. We have a zoning hearing board application ZHB 2023-4, for Parent and Schmidt. The zoning hearing board, meeting is scheduled for 9/28. Conditional use application CU 2023-3, Vigera. The planning commission, review is on 9/26, and, it will be back to us, this is a conditional use. It will be for the conditional use hearing at the Board of Supervisors meeting on 10/3. Zoning hearing board application 2023-7, Salzo and Smith. The planning commission review is on 9/26. It will be before the board to make a decision to send the solicitor on 10/3, and the zoning hearing board meeting is scheduled for 10/25. The zoning hearing board application ZHB 2023-5, Callaway. The planning commission review is on 9/26. It's to the board to decide to send the solicitor or not on 10/3, and the zoning hearing board is scheduled for 10/26. And the zoning hearing board application ZHB 2023-2, Giordano. The planning commission review is on 9/26. That'll be before the board to make a decision to send the solicitor on 10/3, and the zoning hearing board is scheduled for 11/9/23.
Is that correct? That the zoning hearings in October, they're gonna have them back to back, the 25th and the 26th?
Wednesday and Thursday, yeah.
Okay.
There were no more dates available. I didn't get extension.
That is the end of the general meeting. Public comment? Floor is open. Yep.
Anita Nolan, resident. I just wanted to say thank you to Doug and the road crew for the excellent work on Tan Cannon Road. It is much improved, still a dirt road, but we can now kind of get by each other through most of it. So
Yep.
thank you.
Good to hear. The big test will be the winter thaw after this winter.
I have not met a trash truck on it yet, so that's the debate then.
All right, thank you. Yep, Kathy.
Catherine Auerbach, Center Road. Question, did you ever receive any final linens for the Luck subdivision?
It was withdrawn.
No,
The subdivision
Luck.
itself?
the subdivision.
Oh, the
itself.
subdivision. Did we get any?
We don't have the recorded linens back yet.
Okay.
So
Did you sign it?
We don't have any.
No,
no, there were issues that Steve, our engineer, was handling, and I believe that they were submitted back to our engineer. But he's going to make sure that everything is as it should be, and then you'll have them back.
This was with the
The changing of
monuments,
some
the-
right of way
Right.
thing, yeah.
Right, and the monuments haven't been moved yet.
okay.
Well, I think, at least what I was told, was that the new monuments have been put in, but the old monuments haven't been taken out. And I was asked whether they should, and I said yes. So whether they've been taken, they are going to be taken out before the plans are signed.
Well, okay, I don't know that all the new ones are in either.
So,
So I just wanted to advise you that some incompletes. on
Okay.
That. Not sign. Everything's correct. And another question is there a process with the township as a party to the Wild and Scenic as far as reviewing other activities that happen along the river and what method is, what kind of process is that? And do you ever hear about things that are happening that you can comment on?
not sure if I follow. About events that are happening down the river or,
No, actions, anything that's going to make a permanent change.
I think our representative on that council is Marty Kai. And I mean, we received an email today from someone from Wild and Scenic, but with regard to projects that might be happening up and down the river that they may be taking a position on, I don't believe that we get looped into that. I don't believe there's a process for us
Right.
to be
Yeah.
for our input to be solicited,
Yeah.
to either join them in support or in opposition of something.
I do believe that if Marty knew of anything, that she would certainly reach out to us, but you
And
know,
they do have-
that's as it's been for a few decades now.
I-
Um,
Yeah.
but
don't
do you have a particular concern that?
There is, driving down River Road and you cross over into Solbury and you get into the lovely village of Lumberville. It's on the National Register. That's one of the remarkable assets of the Wild and Scenic. And the whole idea is that all these things are to be kept and preserved and not denigrated, lessened in any way, because that could lessen all the distance and be a domino effect in the wrong direction. So, now they're working on at least number 2, if not number 3, of demolitions of National Register buildings in that district. So, and that's along the canal and it's very visible. And that's putting the district into jeopardy of listing. As well as then that does a domino effect with how strongly the whole river is holding together with its scenic classification. Much of it was the historic resources. So I am concerned that because it's written that everybody can comment and support everybody else in trying to do the right thing and not the wrong thing, that there might be something that needs to be looked into to be more proactive on
Can you call
preservation.
the agency yourself?
Pardon?
Can you call the agency responsible for all that?
Tilbury Township for giving a demolition permit?
No.
I guess,
The Wild and Scenic?
well, I don't know.
Why can't you call them directly?
Well.
Could you?
I don't know.
Well, are
I'm
you,
just asking you what now,
Yeah.
what process, if there is any, and there.
Kathy,
apparently isn't.
do you know if the Wild and Scenic is, are they writing comments about
I don't.
that activity
I
there?
don't particularly follow that exactly, but I
Okay.
wanted to know because I was involved actually in going to Congress to testify for it, and I feel strongly and happy that it is listed. And I hate to see this incremental loss that will ultimately change the listing.
Can't imagine that I can't imagine that Solbury isn't concerned.
I don't think they are. Well, I know, but the township, and I think there needs to be a process, and I would, would hope at some point there's a stronger way for all the townships to be working together proactively for preservation, as opposed to just sitting back and going, oh my gosh, look, another place is gone, and then all of a sudden we lose a lot more than just one building.
So maybe this is something we ask Marty to see if there is a
I can send,
Framework.
I'm sure Kathy can explain it better, and I'm happy to send Kathy Marty's contact information.
But
Mhm.
okay, and then maybe the historic commission would be able to comment, or involve everybody a little more actively for all these.
I'll
different
send you,
things.
Janine's contact
Right,
information
yeah.
at the same time tomorrow, Kathy. I'll send you both the historic chair
Yeah.
and, our wild and scenic rep.
Thank you.
Steve, so you're.
I'm here through the grapevine that Doug Bond has completed his report, and that he thought that the bridge could be rehabilitated. Have you guys, that,
We do not have his report yet.
you don't have a report yet?
Nope.
Who was paying for his work? Wasn't it the township?
No, it was being paid for by the Wood Tiger Fund. They gave us.
Yeah, but it's going through the township.
It's going through the township, yes.
I mean, you guys were.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
it was
you
being
said you
paid
got a
for.
copy of that report, or you heard it?
I just heard. Yep.
Okay, but, Terry just checked. with
I
him.
I actually just saw Damon today as well, so no, I
Hopefully before
I don't
coming
have
here.
anything yet.
We were told it would take 4 weeks.
Yeah,
So we were expecting to have something
By
more
the end of the
concrete
month.
by the first meeting of October.
Oh, okay, because
but I'm
he was
curious.
out at the bridge in July, so 4 weeks from that time with them.
there were more studies to be done, Doug Bond, and we had to sign another contract.
Yeah, so
So, yeah,
so
so-
I don't know, yeah, so you were, but
Yeah.
I don't think you were at the meeting.
That,
last
that
week.
wasn't definitive.
Yeah, so
Steve.
last meeting we had, we made a announcement that we had an agreement that we don't have to do any more investigation, but he was gonna review a bunch of information that had been presented and they got from PennDOT and from the investigations that we did to do an investigation to see the weight capacity bearings of the abutments
Okay.
and get that report to us to see, and that would sort of dictate what we can and can't do.
And if the rehabilitation, just to sort of jump a little bit here, if the rehabilitation is feasible, according to the engineer, where do you guys, well, how would that affect you guys? Where would this stand?
Well, at this point, we were looking for an understanding of what the weight capacity would be
Let's say that passes.
of what we were looking at. So let's say if we would then be looking, to try to see, again, like we have been, if there's funding out there. I mean,
And what it would
that's,
cost.
and yeah, and that's the secondary part of both the cost of a full rehab and also of the temporary structure that's been talked about for a long time.
Wow.
Because there's a little bit more that would have to be involved in the temporary structure than initially thought, based on available products for a temporary bridge. So, but
Steve, what have you
Yeah.
heard that you could share with us? Anything you've heard?
I just told you what I heard, which is
What was it?
that the report says feasible,
What, I'm sorry?
that he's concluded that it's feasible.
Oh, that a rehabilitation is feasible.
Yes.
Okay,
I think basically we sort of got that from after we dug down, basically it could be done. We were more concerned about what's a capacity, what's a load that we could
Right,
put
but I
in.
think that passed through.
Yeah.
So I think he was, I mean, these guys always go with ifs and buts, but the answer I think the township's looking for, if they want to get this bridge done, next couple of decades, then I think they got it. I think, so I just want to see if you guys are.
you heard anything?
Okay.
Well, hopefully we'll get the report shortly. We'll have an update for next meeting. Glad.
Vladimir Salamone, Headquarters Road. I just wanted to say, that, I spoke with Eleanor and Terry about the trees that are down in the creek just east of, Center Road. And I was told, over a month ago that it was on the county's work list and they were gonna be right on it. Well, they're still there, so I just wanted to.
Thanks, Vladimir. I thought they took care of it.
How many are there?
Now it's two.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and please don't wait for a meeting. Please call me so I could have contacted them again earlier prior to the meeting. Yeah, they got back to me immediately and said it's right on their work order list, so I'll check on that for you. I'm happy to do that.
We don't know how long.
But you don't need to wait for a meeting to
Work
call me.
order list. Okay, I'll call you.
Only get up.
Apply to the trees in Tinicum.
Please, you have to get up here.
The,
We have a video, you know, we gotta have you on video.
Sick of seeing it, right? Does that apply to the trees in Tinicum Creek by the headquarters road?
Yeah, the reason that I was able to call the county for the trees that he's speaking of is because the creek is on county property. Trees in the creek is the property owners.
Okay,
So-
the Tinicum
So
is,
the trees he's talking about are part of county property in his area.
and the ones by the headquarters road bridge are not.
That's correct.
But there was a tree,
Well,
that big tree.
right.
That was, right in front of the county.
It was,
You know, near the iron, the second iron bridge.
yeah, the county
And-
did.
And they. Huge tree. It was like-
And they,
But it,
And they came the next day.
but it was just upstream of the county bridge, so they had an interest in getting it out.
okay.
any other comments? Not seeing any. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you, everybody.
On the set.
No.
No record.
No